Welcome to MojoPlays, and these days, video game cancellations are part of the daily news cycle. But only a generation ago, we were still missing out on some potentially quality gaming experiences that, for one reason or another, never saw a full release. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Project Rap Rabbit.
My dream hanging. Oh wait, that's my 3-star bold appetit.
There was a time when we had so many rhythm games, we couldn't keep up with them all. Then, one day, they disappeared just as mysteriously as they oversaturated the genre. While games like Guitar Hero were all the rage, some fans longed for the days of learning to kick, punch, and hit the buttons with the beat like in the classic Parappa the Rapper games. Stepping onto the stage was Rap Rabbit. Using rap music in 16th century Japan to battle corrupt overlords sounded like a novel idea akin to Parappa the Rapper's spirit. The ability to learn words from your opponent's lyrics to use in your raps was a novel idea that expanded on the traditional rhythm-based game mechanics. However, with a Kickstarter goal of $1 million, Rap Rabbit barely managed to scrape together a quarter of that goal and retired before his career even began.
Living the dream, this ain't no race. Now take your hissing and get some mommy kissing. Yo, what's up?
Fez 2. With the indie scene exploding, Fez became a poster child of the independent gaming market and its near limitless potential for creative ideas. The success of Fez with its gorgeous pixelated art and mind-bending dimensional swapping puzzle gameplay put sole developer Phil Fish in the public eye in a big way. However, all this newfound attention brought with it quite a lot of controversy for Phil. Announced in 2013, Fez 2 was cancelled a short time later after Phil got into a very public spat on Twitter, announcing the game's cancellation and his exit from the gaming industry. Phil later said the cancellation had more to do with his lack of interest in doing a sequel that would somehow improve on the original. The Twitter meltdown gave him an easy out to stop production on a game he had no interest in and had barely even begun production on. Wild. These days, it's rare for Ubisoft to release anything outside of Assassin's Creed, but that didn't stop them from announcing projects we all knew were never going to see the light of day. Isn't that right, Beyond Good and Evil 2? Wild was a wildly ambitious title for the studio, promising a procedurally generated Neolithic game world filled with warring tribes, supernatural creatures, and a realistic ecosystem. The main draw besides exploration was the player's possession ability, which would allow them to take control of any of the animals in the world and make use of their specific abilities, such as a bird scouting an area or a bear's strength to attack a rival tribe. The world and gameplay shown off were impressive, and the possession ability offered limitless possibilities. But amid several controversies, game director Michel Ancel left Ubisoft. Despite development supposedly continuing, the game was quietly cancelled shortly after. Of the Orient. This one is definitely going to get flagged by the YouTube censors, but honest to God, that was the name of the game. This was Team Bondi's follow-up to their moderate hit, L.A. Noire, most famous for its highly detailed facial animations that were extremely cutting edge for the time and were integral to the core interrogation game mechanics. Set in 1936 Shanghai, it would have had players confronting corrupt police, multiple crime families, and the warring political powers of the East and West. While the narrative concept was heavy enough, the gameplay itself would have been like L.A. Noire, with cover-based shooting and interrogation mechanics. Despite targeting a 2015 release, the game went dark only to be cancelled in 2016. Oddly enough, despite the controversial title and subject matter, the only backlash from China was the use of the word Orient. Disney Infinity 4. The toys-to-life boom of the mid-2000s needs to be studied because the rate at which they exploded in popularity and subsequently died off is impressive even for the gaming industry. After the success of Skylanders, everyone with a major IP catalog was jumping in. So naturally, Disney, with its massive vault, wasn't far behind. Disney Infinity easily could have been a simple toy cash grab, but to Avalanche Software's credit, they put in a good amount of work to make each world feel unique and authentic to the license, as well as offering players a myriad of different gameplay modes to engage with. Unfortunately, the Toys to Life bubble popped around 2015. Plans for the fourth major expansion were cancelled amidst crumbling sales, despite big plans to allow players to use any character in any world, as well as larger, more detailed figures for fans to collect.
It seems your time has run out.
Star Wars 1313.
Cargo lane cleared for descent to level 1313.
Catch a deep breath. It'll be the last fresh air you'll get for a while.
Fresh air is overrated.
Disney has made a lot of bad decisions since acquiring Star Wars, but their earliest blunder was canceling one of the most anticipated games since The Force Unleashed. Allowing players to take up the bounty hunting helmet of Boba Fett and explore the lower levels of Coruscant, hunting down bounties and building the reputation of the future feared bounty hunter. Offering players a side of Star Wars rarely seen without Force powers and lightsabers. The Uncharted-inspired exploration and climbing, paired with the faster cover shooter mechanics, stood out as something new for the franchise. 1313 gave players a look into the darker side of the Star Wars universe, with even series creator George Lucas's input during development. However, Disney, in their infinite arrogance of "we can do it better," canceled the game despite fan anticipation and would slowly and painfully kill the series in front of its lifelong fans.
Might as well see if there's any place more comfortable on this rust bucket. It's a long way down.
Down?
Yeah, down. The rings aren't on Coruscant. They're underneath it.
Santa Monica Studios' Sci-fi project. Santa Monica Studio has been consistently putting out quality God of War experiences for 2 decades now. But after Ascension in 2013, they looked to step out of the Spartans' mighty shadow and pitch something entirely different to their current catalog, a sci-fi game. Although never formally announced, Sony backed the project to the tune of $25 million before the team ultimately moved on and returned to give Kratos another adventure in a new realm. Barely any details are known about the project besides some leaked concept art that looked appropriately sci-fi, borrowing elements of Alien, Avatar, and Star Wars. Although the project was cancelled, Santa Monica and God of War director Cory Barlog are reportedly working on a new sci-fi title alongside whatever Kratos' next game ends up being, but we'll have to wait for the inevitable reveal to know if it's the same project reborn. Deep down.
My useless magic could have me poking lines in the old market for 1/10 the hassle of your empty venture. Why were you following him anyway?
Revealed alongside the PS4 in 2013, Deep Down was Capcom's step into Dark Souls territory, while also allowing players to dungeon crawl solo or with 3 other friends. Designed to be a free-to-play title, players would be transported back to medieval times from the far future by interacting with ancient artifacts. So a bit of Assassin's Creed mixed in for good measure. The game was a graphical showcase for the PS4, with impressive lighting and particle effects alongside realistic characters and creative creature designs. Gameplay would have been reminiscent of Capcom's own Dragon's Dogma series, with environmental destruction heavily factoring into encounters if the released footage is to be believed. Deep Down went deep into obscurity and was almost forgotten outside of Capcom renewing the trademark for the game in 2018, but with most of the original creative team either leaving or moving on, Deep Down will likely remain a relic of the past. Primal Carnage Genesis. Dino Crisis fans have long been left in the Jurassic period by Capcom, but fans almost got the next best thing had Primal Carnage Genesis made it to release. Pitched as a story-heavy single-player campaign told over the course of 4 episodes set within the Primal Carnage universe. With first-person combat that puts you up close and personal as the next prehistoric meal, the game would have focused on survival and stealth alongside outright combat, albeit discouraged due to limited ammo and supplies. The narrative would have allowed players to uncover the story through environmental storytelling rather than an overabundance of cutscenes, and each episode slowly explaining the origins of the prehistoric hunters and the experiments that led to their creation. The game was ultimately put on hold after a new developer took over the IP and has since been quietly left in the past. Silent Hills. The Silent Hill IP had been relatively dormant beyond Homecoming and Downpour, neither of which were particularly well received, but a mysterious playable teaser later revealed to be a new entry in the Silent Hill franchise offered fans a glimmer of hope. With Metal Gear Solid maestro Hideo Kojima teaming up with acclaimed director Guillermo del Toro, Silent Hills looked to give players a horrific new vision of the iconic fog-laden town. However, amidst turmoil between Konami and Kojima, Konami would cancel Silent Hills and part ways with Hideo Kojima, even going so far as to permanently delete the PT demo from the PSN storefront. The simple hallway demo would go on to inspire numerous other horror titles, and the Silent Hill series is in the middle of a much-needed resurgence, but we can't help but always wonder what could have been. Which PS4 game cancellation broke your heart? Share your disappointments in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.